School get ranked every year, but behind every number, every score, every position on the list, there's a person making decisions, building culture, and shaping thousands of kids' lives. Today, I am sitting down with the principal of the Mann School, New Delhi, one of the city's most respected institutions, to talk about what great schooling actually looks like from the inside. This is ICOSA podcast. Let's get into it. Hey everyone, welcome to the ICOSA podcast. I am Ananya, and this is a show where we go beyond rankings. At ICOSA, we evaluate school across India, but numbers only tell the part of a story. This podcast is about the other part, the people, the philosophy, the everyday decisions that make a school truly great. From our very first episode, I couldn't have asked for a better guest. We're talking to the principal of the Mann School, New Delhi, a school that has consistently stood out not just with its academics, but for its kind of environment it creates for students and teachers alike. This is going to be a real conversation about education, leadership, and what it means to run a school in 2026. Joining me today is Mr. Srinivasan Sriram, principal of the Mann School, New Delhi. He has been in education for around 36 years. It's genuinely great to have you here. Welcome to the ICOSA podcast.
Thank you so much, Ananya. It's a pleasure that I'm able to talk to you and interact with the audience that are present. And I look forward to a very meaningful and thought provoking session where I can share my thoughts. And I would definitely like to know if there are any questions that I can answer as a part of this conversation. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you so much, sir. So, before we get into the big question, I always like to start with the person behind the title. Can you just walk us through your journey? Like, how did you end up becoming a principal, or was this always the plan?
Okay, I'll keep it brief because that's a long story cut short.
All
I
right.
basically hail from South India. I am from Chennai. So all my education happened in Chennai, and I finished my schooling in 1986 with the grade 12, and then I took up graduation in physics, which I did from a very reputed college in Chennai, and I finished my so-called educational, sojourn in 1989. That was my first part. So in 89, when I finished my graduation, I had option of going on for a post graduation or to take up a job. The situation at home didn't really let me pursue my post graduation at that time, and therefore I was forced to take up a job, which I did eventually in a company. It was a startup called Informatics Computer Systems way back in 1989. I'm talking of. It was a new company. There were only a few so-called edtech companies at that time. One was Apple, the other was NIIT, and the third one was a company called Informatics Computer Systems. Basically, they were providing computer education in schools. So I was interviewed by their management and I was offered a position of manager in one of their corporate offices. And that is how my journey started. Only to realize that when I took up the job, they sent me to a school to teach there. Now, I was totally surprised by this move because the position was that for a manager, and then I was sent to a school for teaching. But then they said you need to have real insights into a school because since they were providing education in school, so I was supposed to take first-hand information about what the work culture is all about and how the entire system functions. So I need to go to a school. So my first posting was at a school called Majura Public School in Madurai, down South India. I
Right.
stayed there for 3 months. And it was a very, very small school. They had a big branch coming up at a distance. So it was a residential building where I was a very, very small school running up to class 5. And I was a part of it. That was my first, foray into education. I was while I was getting settled, I realized that there can be a lot of gaps in education. Like for example, I was predominantly, asked to teach in English, and I realized that in Madurai, in the place where I was, the students couldn't understand English so much that when I realized that while I was teaching English, they were not getting at anything at all. So I had to change myself into the local dialect. So that was my first instance of teaching in schools. After 3 months, I was moved to another school in Kanyakumari called the Vivekananda Kendra Vidyalaya. It was right on the shores of the sea, part of the Vivekananda Kendra Memorial, organization. I worked there for about 6 months, and I was literally praying, God, where have you posted me? Surrounded by seas on all three sides.
Right.
God probably heard me, and He says, "Okay, you have problems with water, so I'll post you to Rajasthan." So that was the time when I was moved from Kanyakumari to Delhi for a short stint at the head office of the informatics computer systems, and then moved to Mayo College Ajmer. And that was I would say, my first proper journey in education started there in 1990 at the prestigious Mayo College in Ajmer, where I joined them. Again, I was a part of the company. I was on deputation to Mayo College from 1990 to 91 for 1 year. And during that 1 year, the kind of interaction, the kind of connect that I made with the students, I didn't make an attempt, but the principal himself called me and he asked me, Mr. Sriram, why don't you join Mann School as a regular teacher rather than being on deputation? And that's how my journey in education started at Mayo College in 1990. And I worked in Mayo College under various capacities till the year of 2020. And in 2020, just before COVID, I had the opportunity to meet my chairman of this school, Mr. Joginder Mann. He was there at Mayo College to witness one of the events, and I was a protocol officer for him, and that was my first interaction. And there he liked my my journey in education and my perception towards education. We had a chat, and that is the time when he said, why don't you come to Mann School as a head of the school? And that was in year 2020 when I moved from Mayo College after 30 years of service to the Mann School. And here I am, 6 years as principal of Mann School, uh, and going strong.
Perfect. That's quite a challenging journey, to be honest. So,
Yeah.
one follow-up question to this is when you had to, understand, or would I say, adapt the dialect down south, like how was it for you? Was it super challenging, or how did you do it? Because I, as a person, cannot thinking of just adopting a dialect from anywhere.
No, I mean it was challenging because computer science essentially was supposed to be taught in English. I
Right.
mean, the language that you normally converse should be in English, because you don't teach computer science in Tamil.
Right.
Today, there are different options that you have. I mean, I couldn't even get some of the words, equivalent words in Tamil to teach them computer science, because it was largely an English-driven language. We
Right.
used to teach GW Basic was a language way then, which I was supposed to teach to the students, and there was very little room that you can use for instructional purposes. You can use a Tamil dialect, but then largely the programming and the basic fundamentals have to be taught using the proper English words. Frankly speaking, I wouldn't know the Tamil equivalent of those words also at that time. So it was a mix of Tamil and English that I used to. But I will share my first experience with the students. I want to prove myself as a good teacher, because that's the opportunity I got. So I go into my first lesson. I think it was grade 4 or grade 5. I don't remember clearly. And to make an impression amongst the students, I started speaking in English with heavy words, and I was like describing my journey in education in terms of how I got into computer science, how I got a liking into computer science, and how I have already done a bit in terms of achieving in programming and so on and so forth. And the entire class was very silent. So I said, what a fantastic set of students. And then I realized something is wrong. They're too silent. I mean, there was not a single, word here and there. And suddenly I threw a question in English. And then again there was silence. Then I realized they're not understanding anything. They're just keeping quiet, because what am I speaking? Was completely new to them. And largely there the teachers were speaking in both English and in Tamil. So of course, me being from Tamil Nadu, that was not a challenge for me as far as giving instructions. But then I modified my instruction to captivate their attention and ensure that they at least understand what I'm saying. But because my first lesson for the first 10-15 minutes was total bouncers for them, they couldn't understand anything. So there was a disparity in terms of teaching in English in a school in Madurai. Madurai cannot be called a rural place. It was a semi-urban place. But yes, there are students who had problems in understanding instructions in English. But yes, that was the initial start for my journey. It got better as the journey progressed. But I am a teacher by chance and not a teacher by choice. That is very, very clear. I was, luck got me into teaching, and I'm here. But I chose this as a passion. Once I was thrown into the realm of education, I said, let me accept it and be a part of it rather than opposing it or not trying to taking a dislike to it. So God's been kind, and people have been kind to me so far.
Nice. It was genuinely very inspiring understanding that there are chances and there's luck just acting up to it, and then you build to something so great in your life.
Thank you.
So let's move ahead to the school part. All right. So let's talk about the Mann school specifically. Every school has a personality, a certain way of doing things, and how would you describe the core philosophy at Mann? Like, if a parent would ask you what your school is really about, what would you tell them?
See, there are many schools. Schools are meant for education. Okay.
Right.
But Man School, I would say the USP is that we pay a lot of emphasis on character building and holistic growth. So in Man School, I don't brag about great academic results. Academic results are good. Okay. It's not a kind of 99% or 98%. I'm not in that bracket. I produce good results, but I bring out some fantastic children in terms of the uh, overall holistic capabilities. A child in my school will be definitely good in academics, will be good in sports, and will be good in extracurriculars as well. All the three major components of a schooling system. Okay, when I talk about sports, when I talk about extracurriculars, I'm talking about skill sets. That should be noted. So I definitely would like them to be skilled up in certain areas so that when a child passes out of Man school, they are definitely guaranteed about one thing. In terms of character, they will be the finest gentleman or lady that a school can produce. Holistic growth, so academic, sports, and co-curriculars, extracurriculars, all built in to the extent possible, because there is a lot that I can give, but it is for the child to take as much as he or she can chew. So
Right.
it is a matter of more how much a child can take it, but then the offerings are plenty. Like for example, Man School offers close to 25 to 30 different societies and clubs. Very few schools would have that many number of clubs operating. It is possible in Man School because Man School is a day come boarding school. So I have children here who are staying with me 24/7. So I have a good amount of after school activities that are happening, that is in sports as well as in extracurriculars. And I ensure that each child picks up at least two sporting activities and two good extracurriculars during their lifetime at Man School. I'm talking of two good, I mean, good amount of skill sets, but in terms of the variety, they can go up to, a good four or five sports at the minimum. There is a sports calendar. They have to take part in all the sports, but they will have good amount of skill sets in at least two sporting activities and two extracurricular activities to the minimum I'm talking about. So holistic growth with character is what Man School is all about.
Well, that's phenomenal. But where does this philosophy come from? Like, is it something that was there from the beginning only, or something that evolved over time?
No, it was there from the beginning. For your information, Mr. Joginder Mann, who's the chairman of the school, is a product of Birla Public School, Pilani. And he has been a gentleman who has studied this boarding school system to a great extent. So he has gone into the positives of the top boarding schools of the country, chose the best from all, and he has ensured that the best of all those practices are practiced in Man School. So if you come to Man School, you will have the best of what was practiced in Birla Public School, Pilani, the best of what is practiced in Mayo College, the best of what was practiced in Sindhia, in Rajkumar College, in Doon School. So it is a mix of all the best practices that one can see in all the schools. Now, I'm not just saying it for the sake of doing it. Like, I'll give you a small example. We learn from each other in the education space. Okay, nobody can say that I know everything. It's a continuous learning process. We have a good amount of trophies that are, in fact, our trophy collection, I really, I'm very, very proud. We have close to, uh, 50 to 60 trophies and cups for various events. And the collection is phenomenal. I'll share a picture of that with you sometime later. And you will see for yourself, these are curated by the school. I mean, and we take great pride in doing that. Very few schools have that kind of a trophy collection. Now, we had trophies, but then it was, we used to just keep those trophies and then show it to them, show to the children that they should compete for it, and it used to be a good collection for the visitors to see. But then we realized in one of the workshops which Doon School did, they had a system of what is called as trophy warriors, if I'm right. So they involved the students in ensuring that the trophy is maintained. They knew about each and every trophy, and they would be a part and parcel of the upkeep of the trophy. That's such a fantastic thing. I mean, getting the
Right.
students involved in this entire process of shaping up these trophies and maintaining it, because trophies require maintenance.
Right.
So we imbibed that from Doon School. So we created a similar set of we call that as trophy guardian.
Mm.
Okay, and there is a trophy guardian captain or a prefect, and he has a team of around 15 to 20 members. Every 3 months, they will go through the complete, you know the what do you call, the reason behind why a trophy was instituted, by whom, and also take those trophies out, polish them, ensure they are good in shape, and keep it back. So this way, when they have a touch and feel of the trophy, it connects a lot with them, and they vie for the trophy. That this trophy, certain trophies are very big and very, very, royal, and they really aspire that this trophy should come to my house someday. That's the way the trophy guardians work. So that's something I imbibed from Doon School, and I'm proud to take Doon School's name, because that's how we learn. As I said, we have good practices which we learn from other schools, but instead of doing just a lip service, I ensure that it is implemented 100% in my school, and students are definitely involved as a part of it.
Nice. I think this inspires a lot, actually.
Thank you.
So, what's something the school has done in the last 2 to 3 years that you're genuinely proud of? Something that you feel really captured of what you're trying to build?
Well, there are many things. There cannot be one. There are plenty, but I'll share a few which comes to my mind immediately. Uh, 3 years back, uh, uh, I would say, for when I joined in 2020, nearly 1.5 to 2 years went in COVID. So there was not much of interaction that was happening with the children. Very few
Right.
children used to come. The teachers were coming to school sparingly. So my tenure, I would say, started in 2022, uh, with full-fledged schooling.
Right.
So at Man School, I felt there were many areas which could be covered, and which were not properly, what to say, addressed. One such case was that of dramatics. Now, in typically in legacy schools, dramatics is a full-fledged activity, and they put up plays in the annual day, big time. In Mayo College, they used to practice for more than a month, and that the production would be huge. I mean, they would spend a lot of money, and it was a big activity during the prize giving, or the annual day, as you call it. At Man School, the dramatics club was quite dysfunctional. I ensured that there is proper shape to it, and there are teachers who are taking care of it, and of course a set of students who really get interested in dramatics. Now, dramatics is a very, very large area that you can address. There can be a small play, there can be a nukkad natak, there can be a small skit to address a social issue, or there can be a Shakespearean play, massive production. So I took it up one step at a time. So in 2022, 23, we took up, these small skits kind of a thing. 23, 24, I went to the next step. We went to the Nukkad Nataks and some, children's day plays and all. With the result, last year, we were number one in the country in dramatics. We stood first in the IPSC dramatics. In all IPSC schools, our school was adjudged as the best, and we did a Shakespearean play. So that's a big achievement. I mean, within 3 years to turn around a particular activity from nowhere to reach the pinnacle of, IPSC has fantastic schools and they do a lot in dramatics. And to be able to win that prize was definitely a big honor. And same way, in terms of sports, two of my students are currently representing India in international circuit in basketball. So it's not about national achievement. Many schools achieve national achievements. For me, international achievements hold a lot of significance. So two of my under 19 students are playing representing India in the school basketball federation, and they've played multiple matches, and that is a big, big achievement again. And at the national level, I have close to 46 or 50 students who are playing nationals, who played nationals last year. Again, a big achievement. And in terms of academics, which is of course the core for any schooling, I have ensured that we have moved at least 5 to 6 percentage up since the time I have taken over. So there are there are there are achievements in academics, there are achievements in sports, there are achievements in extracurriculars, and of course there is a lot of emphasis on career building or character building. Okay, character is an integral part of every person. Mann School pays a very, very important, attention to character building. We have a signature program called the MS Finishing School, and the Finishing School is the one where we teach the children etiquettes and manners. So all our children are very well dressed. We are one of the best dressed schools in the country. I mean, when I'm talking of the school uniform, no school. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. No school has a pocket square as a part of the school uniform. My school has a pocket square. When they wear a blazer, they have to have a pocket square. Same way in fine dining, all my boarding students and majority of my day students as well can use chopsticks to have a oriental meal without using a spoon or a fork. They can eat with chopsticks. So these are skills which many schools don't even know about, that they exist and they need to be, because today, in today's world, in the globalized world, many children travel abroad for various purposes. You
Right.
go there and then you use a wrong spoon or a fork to have your meal, you will be laughed at. Okay,
That's
so these are small, small things, but then it carries a lot of importance in the character building of a child, and we pay a lot of attention towards it. So overall growth in all spheres is the USP of Mann School.
No, I can personally relate to this because apart from this, I have been schooled in All Saints College, Nainital. So I was a
Mm,
boarder there.
yes.
So I personally have experienced everything that you've just mentioned, like the
Ma'am,
etiquettes.
Kirin Jeremiah was the principal?
Yes, yes, under my tenure, yes.
Correct. Okay. All right.
So now I have to ask this because of what ICOSA does. School rankings are everywhere these days. Parents consult them, schools care about them. What's your own honest take on ranking platforms? Like, do you think they capture what actually makes a school good?
Should I be candid with you?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Rankings are a joke these days.
All right.
It's a real joke. They have messed up with the whole system. Unfortunately, some people believe in it,
Right.
uh, and that's why there is so much of churning in this space.
Right.
Um, I wouldn't like to name, but I know that there are organizations which ask for money to rank
Right.
your school. I'm
Right.
sure you're also aware of. Is that what ranking is all about? There are some schools whose names don't figure anywhere else, and they call themselves as the number one school in Haryana, the number one school in Delhi. What is the basis behind this? It's just a matter of throwing some money, some advertisement in their magazine, and then you get the slot. That's no
Right.
ranking at all. Ranking, in my opinion, should be come and see the facilities for yourself, see the culture behind or the ethos behind the school, stay in the school for 2 3 days, see it for yourself, rank it. That should be the way the school should be ranked. Speak to the alumni, speak to the students who pass out of the school, speak to the parents who are a part of stakeholders, and then take a feedback from them in addition to visiting the place and seeing it for yourself.
Right.
Get the fundamentals very, very clear. Get the fundamentals behind the school. Why? What does the school do? That should be the area that should be used for ranking. But unfortunately, uh, rankings have different parameters, and some parameters are skewed to help certain schools top the rankings. There are over the years there are schools which are being ranked at the top, and they have not achieved any great significance in any of the three or four core areas which a school should be ranked on, be it academic, sports, extracurricular, skill sets, and so on and so forth. But yes, maybe they are good at one, but then they are ranked higher year on year. Somewhere they have lost the impact, and I think there should be a complete relook at the way the rankings are being done today. That's my honest feedback to you.
Right. No, that's really interesting. So, if you were designing the ranking criteria yourself, what would be the top two or three things that you would measure?
One for me would certainly be the holistic growth of the children. I mean, what does the school provide as a whole, not just in one core area? Like, I wouldn't like to name, there is a school in South Delhi. They are known for their academic results,
Right.
splendid results year after year. But are they participating in sporting activities to the extent that Mann school students are taking part? The answer is a clear no. Not even one tenth of what we do. Are they taking part in various extracurricular activities in debates and MUNs and so on? The answer is no. I may be wrong, but I don't see them anywhere in the circuit because they all belong to the same, IPC group. But then they're not there. But then eventually that school gets ranked year on year at the top. The reason is that there is an opinion that there is a name for that school, that they have been producing good results, so it should be good. Well, I'm not denying the fact the school is good in one sphere, but school is not about just one sphere, one core area. It's not just about academics. Today the concept of schooling has changed. School is not only meant for academics, it's for holistic growth. So one parameter would definitely be a combination of what the school offers for a child in terms of academics, sports, and co-curriculars. My second most important aspect would be to judge what does the school do in terms of character building. Today, one of the biggest challenges that the school faces, or as a community we face, is that the children don't shape up to be good individuals. We see a lot of child related crimes and so many other issues that are cropping up at a very, very young age. Are
Right.
we addressing this issue? The answer is no. So, character building, holistic growth uh, will definitely be two important parameters that will be a part of the ranking. And third will be how does your alumni perform over the years? Where have they gone on to shape up the community, or the what have they offered to the country as a whole? Many of my children have gone on to do well in defense forces. So in a way, they are contributing back to the country.
Right.
There are students who have taken up roles in administrative services. They are contributing back. So these are the parameters that one should keep in mind before judging a school in terms of ranking. But most importantly, come and see it for yourself. Don't go by what you give or what a school gives you in a piece of paper. come, stay in school for 3 days, for a week, for 10 days, inspect each and every aspect of the school. Now, that's a very, very, what to say, long process if you have to do for all the schools. But then if you can do it that way, you can never go wrong, and you will get the right school, the best school, at the top of the rankings, very, very clearly.
All right, got it. So the top three measures are really interesting and very different also, to be really honest. All right, so we were talking about the students, so we'll just build on it now.
Yeah.
So let's talk about students for a bit because ultimately that's all of this is for. Have you noticed a shift in students over the last few years, like post pandemic? Are they different in some way? What their needs differed, or the way of learning differed, and how do they engage now?
Yes, definitely there is a difference, perceptible difference very clearly. One is that their attention span, which was already weak, has gone in for a complete toss.
Right,
Today, they are so, uh, what is the right term? So distracted with so many things that they are not able to focus.
right,
So attention span is very low, because of which the retention span is even lower.
right,
A classroom of 40 minutes or 35 minutes lesson is not something where you can keep them idle or focused. I wouldn't say idle, the right term is focused. They will
right,
lose focus within the first 8 to 10 minutes.
right,
So, therefore, I have designed my lessons wherein the teacher has to take up the lesson in 3 or 4 stages. The first 10 minutes is going to be the most effective and productive session, where they're going to introduce and teach the concepts for a particular topic. The next 10 minutes is going to be a discussion. It's going to be an open question answer session. And the next 10 minutes are going to be the revision in terms of, you know, uh, that topic, the various other aspects that can come into it. Rather than going in for a lecture for full 30 minutes or 40 minutes is not helping anymore. So this way, I'm able to at least have the attention for the first 10 minutes. So the maximum impact happens in the first 10 minutes. So that is one thing I see in students. Number two, there is a lot of loss in values among students after COVID. Earlier, the students had a great respect for a teacher,
right,
and whatever the teacher said was gospel for the children before. I mean, I'm talking of the larger, part of the children. There are few cases here and there. I'm not talking about that. But today, there is a tendency for the children to question each and every decision taken by a teacher. This has
right.
come up after COVID, and partially the parents are responsible for it.
Mm,
It was after COVID that the parents have gained a lot of momentum in terms of interfering with the schools. Prior to
right,
that, the interference were very limited. Today, the parent thinks that he or she is capable of educating a child better than the school.
okay,
Partially because during COVID, when we had online classes, the parents were a part of it. So they started judging. Earlier,
right,
they never knew what was happening inside the classroom. But then when they were a part of this online coaching, they understood that these are things which could be done better. Now,
right,
for an individual to do it with one child is much easier. But when you put the 35 children in a class, it is a totally different ball game altogether, which the parents don't understand. And beyond that, they have become more unrealistic today. There have been times when the parents used to align themselves with the school in terms of their rules and regulations. Today, there is a lot of interference from the parents, be it in terms of the way the school is run, or be it fee related, or be it the various other aspects of the school, in terms of how a child has to be treated. There are so many aspects. So everywhere there is an interference today. Interference by the child, interference by the parent. The child gets emboldened because the he or she knows that the parents are their backup. So
Right.
these are largely the issues that we see, and there has been definitely a dip in the academic levels after COVID amongst all students. The pre-COVID levels of academic focus and rigor is missing these days.
All right. I actually love both of the answers that you just gave. So, post COVID, can we also say the attention span has reduced because of the micro generated content that students are consuming these days?
Yes, that is what I meant by distraction.
Right.
Today, there is a lot of intervention where their mind is diverted towards OTTs, the various other you know uh, uh, games, and so many other things that are available, readily available in the electronic space today, and because of which their attention span has dwindled to such an extent that it's very difficult to get the child to focus for a long period of time, which is very, very essential for good education.
All right. All right. So, last one in this block is just paint me a picture. What does a really good day at the Mann School look like? Like, if everything goes right, what's happening?
Well, I can, from what I can think, for me, there are 3 or 4 occasions which I can say is the best day at Man School. The first one would definitely be a mass participation by the students in an activity. That gives me immense joy. When I see like we have the cross country, okay, so the cross country race where all the students are expected to take part. So
All right.
I see the whole school getting busy, that house spirit coming in. We have to win for our house, and the whole
Right.
school runs for, imagine 1,000 students running a marathon or something like that. That's a sight to behold. So that, of course, is one area where I really feel happy. The second area is, of course, when I see a child, uh, you know, uh, getting a prize or bringing the best out of what the child is capable of. When the school helps them doing it, and he or she uh, picks up a very good, position in a competition, it gives a lot of pleasure. As a teacher, as a principal, when my students do well, it gives me a lot of joy. And the third one is when a child who has passed out from the school comes back to the school and says, "Today, I am what I am because of my school. They have played a role in shaping my career." Uh, when they come back and explain uh, how much of a role Mann School has to play in helping them shape up, it gives me immense pleasure. I think that's the best day one can ever think of. As for a principal, for a teacher, when a child comes back and says, "Ki, ma'am, you have touched upon my life in a small way to be able to be what I am today," is a phenomenal feeling. I think there can be nothing better than for a teacher than that feeling. So these are broadly the 3 occasions that I can think of when I feel absolutely happy. And of course, when I have a 20-point agenda in my calendar for the day and I'm able to complete 90% of it, I'm super elated. Okay, because it today we come up with a calendar, but it doesn't execute because there are times when certain exigencies come in where you have to spend a lot of time, and then you end up either spending the day, stretching the day beyond your normal permissible limits, or there are certain things that you'll have to carry forward to the next day. That I hate. So when I have a day when I have a paper like this which tells me what I am supposed to do today. So when that goes off ticked with all the you know all the points ticked, I'm very happy.
A productive day is the best day, actually.
Absolutely, absolutely, there's no doubt about it.
All right, let's move ahead. So now, because you have everything figured out so well and you're well disciplined as to what I can gauge by this conversation, let's talk about your leadership and advice end. So, I want to shift to the leadership side a little in this conversation. Running a school is genuinely complex. Like you're managing students, parents, teachers, administration, expecting from all the directions. So, what's the hardest part of the job that people on the outside don't really see?
Hardest parts today Earlier, it was, most principals, I would say, would be teachers or students, but today is definitely 90% of the principals will agree it is the parents. They are the biggest problem to the education industry today. They just don't understand how the transaction is made in schools. Helicopter parenting has become the order of the day today. They read something in Google, and Chat GPT helps them even better, and they come up with some funny way of, telling the school how to run the school. Is unfortunately, the hardest part. But the other area which I think seriously is a concern is that of the staff attrition. Today, there is a serious problem of getting good teachers. I can tell you that, because at Mann School we ensure that we are very very transparent, and our pay and everything are according to what has been mandated by the government. In spite of that, I find that the teachers to my expectations are not coming into the space. So, and even if they come, they leave very early for a few thousand rupees, which they might get more in some other school, or for some very, very uh, minuscule or minute issue, which probably would have helped them in building up to be a better teacher. So if you tick them off saying that no, this is not the right way to go about, they feel offended. This is especially with the Gen Z, you know, finding it very, very difficult for them to see. I have done a 30-year stint in Mayo College, and
Right.
mine is a 6-year stint at Mann School. There are times when we have been reformed, we have been ticked off by our principals, by our coordinators, by our vice principal. We have taken that as a part of a learning process. Okay, and
Right.
that is why I am here sitting today in the principal's chair. And I was no one when I started my journey as an educator. As I told you, I was not even planning to come into education. But today, having taken it up as a chance and being able to make up to the top of the hierarchy, I'm not bragging about myself, but then there is a lot of discipline that is required to grow, and stability is an integral part of growth. You can't be shifting schools every 2 3 years just because you're not happy with one school, or you're not being treated properly. No, that is a very subjective matter. Not being treated is, well, if you're not doing your job properly, we have got all the rights to correct you. I mean, the school doesn't expect you to you know uh, uh, conduct yourself the way you want to, but there are certain rules and regulations. So to have them follow these rules and regulations, and also guide them to be better educators, they take it very very personal. So there's a lot of attrition happening. So these are two major concerns. Children are not a problem. Of course, I told you their attention span and their focus levels have dwindled, but that is something which we can address if I have good teachers. That is not a problem. It will take some time, but we can address it. But what is the real problem is to get good teachers. Now, when I say good teacher, it is an endangered species today. Let me tell you that.
Right. Okay. So there have been a lot of places like on Quora, on Reddit, where I've personally read that teachers complain that they're not being compensated nicely. So that is why there's a lot of problem in education. Most people repel education, like they don't want to teach and everything because they feel that they're not fairly compensated. What are your thoughts on this?
No, I don't think so. Today, there are schools, of course. I mean, I can't generalize it, but then there are schools which are mandated, which are following the rules. Like Man School is one which follows the rules of the land. So if you go to the top schools of the country, I think by and large, they're all following the Seventh Pay Commission, which is the mandate. And
Right.
I mean, imagine. I mean, to be frank, I mean, I can tell you openly when I took up the job first time in 1989. Can you guess what my salary was? Take a wild guess.
1,000 rupees, thousand
It
two
was just
thousand.
1,000 rupees and 1045 was my salary.
All right.
Okay. Now that was low. And when I joined Mayo College at that time, some of the
Right.
teachers, who were seniors during that time when I joined, they used to tell me when they joined Mayo College, that was in 70s. Okay, their salary was a paltry 145 rupees.
Oh,
Now, of course, the money had a lot of value that time compared to what it is today. But having
right.
said that, today's teachers are getting paid, like, for example, a trained graduate teacher, the normal salary would be 70,000 plus. And for a postgraduate teacher, it would be around 85,000 plus in current market trends. If some school is offering the 7 pay commission, I think these are not bad salaries.
Right.
But then to expect a fresher to get into a 1 lakh range
Right.
is not the correct expectation. It takes time. Okay, it took 30 years for me to reach from 1045 to 1.5 lakhs.
Right.
Okay, today some of the starters are getting 1.5
Right.
in some schools. Okay,
Right.
so you can't expect uh, every teacher to be in that range. It is not possible. But yes, having said that, there are many schools who are doing total injustice to the teachers by offering them contractual positions with very low salaries. That is something which I don't agree, and that should not be the case. I mean, we have to teach teachers with respect, and if you want a good school, there are there are three pillars for any good schooling, and one such pillar is the pillar of the academic community. You have to look after them, their well-being. Only then the students will be taken care of. So if you want the students to be taken care of without taking care of the teachers, when I say taking care of the teachers, that means the salary and their professional development, then you are treading on the wrong path.
Great. It was really nice to hear that you, in your end, you must look about all these issues. But building on the situation that is with the parents these days, how do you manage that personally? Like, where do you find the energy to keep showing up for it and fixing it regularly with them?
Well, you see, I'm able to resolve it because I ensure, they see the light at the end of the day. But then it is taking away a good amount of my time. That's the
Right,
concern. Now, as a principal, I want to spend a lot of time in the growth of the school. Okay,
right,
that's possible only when I spend time on the aspects where I can, I can see areas where I can need to improve. The core areas which has to be done slightly differently. It requires a lot of time. Now, sometimes when a parent comes in, I have a calendar with a 10-point agenda, and one parent comes in and then he takes away 1 hour of mine. I mean, the whole day goes for a completely, it takes a different shape. I lose out on certain important appointments. People keep waiting sometimes. So those are issues which are a bit of a problem. But end of the day, when a parent comes to my school, I ensure he or she goes out completely satisfied. It takes time because, see, to run a good school, you need to have the rules and regulations very clearly documented, and you have to follow it. You have to be fair. You can't
right.
be treating one parent with a different approach and another parent with a different approach. That will not work. If you are fair and transparent and your rules are documented clearly, I don't think so there will be any problem to anyone running a school.
Understood. So, with your level of expertise, this is the question just for your personal, let's say, experience. There are a lot of newer schools coming up across India, smaller institutions trying to build something meaningful from their end. If you could give them one piece of advice to a first time principal, what would it be?
Well, I think I just said it. uh, Document all the rules and regulations, clear standard operating procedures, SOPs for all your events, okay, or
Right,
all your activities. Have good SOPs. I have SOPs for every single activity that is happening. So today, if I have to quit this office, the incumbent principal will have no problem because everything is documented. And
right,
the most important thing is documentation is one, but then you have to be fair in your approach, which I
right.
ensure. I have taken an oath when I sat on this chair that I'll be fair to everyone, the children, the parents, and my teachers, that I will not treat them with any kind of bias. And when you treat everyone alike and have the same yardsticks, then I think the problem gets resolved very, very easily. Follow the rules and regulations and the SOPs at all times. And be
Right.
nice to people. That you need to take care of your support staff. You need to look after. the well-being of your staff, the children, and the parent community. These are the major stakeholders. So if you look after their well-being in terms of their expectations to be fulfilled, not compromising with your values and ethos, I will never do that. So
Right.
I keep telling my teachers, my favorite line is get your picking order correct. Country first, school second, my children third, teachers fourth, and then comes my own interest.
Right.
So if you have this picking order correct, so for a teacher, there are three more levels: the country, the school, and the children. Okay. And for the child, it is the school first, and the country and
Right.
the school first. So when you get your picking order correct, that this is the way it is going to be. When my interest of the school is getting compromised, there I will not even, think about helping you at all, because school is paramount. So
Right.
when you understand this hierarchy, 90% of the problems are resolved.
Well, that's very thoughtful, I would say. And thinking so deeply in this generation, I feel that it's lost somewhere. The deep
Well,
analysis.
you're right. Some schools don't pay too much of importance to the school, and they look at some vested interests, some shortcuts here and there. That will ruin the school in the long run.
Okay, now we are going to do something very different, a rapid fire. Short questions, first instinct, no wrong answers, I promise. Ready?
Ready?
Textbooks or tablets?
Textbooks any day.
Marks or skills?
Skills.
Strictest teacher you've ever had, what subject?
Biology. I had a severe amount of beating from the teacher for not completing the homework. Yeah, that time it was allowed, but today you can't touch a child. But yes, very strict teacher.
Okay. One word to describe today's students.
Distracted.
Alright, fair enough. The best place of advice where you got as an educator.
It was my vice principal when I worked at Mayo College.
A recommendation for a book every school leader should read.
Like the New Psychology of Success by Carol Dweck.
If you want a principal, what would you be doing? Yes.
Well, when I was young, I wanted to be a pilot, but I wouldn't have been because the financial situation at family didn't support that. But maybe I would have taken to a marketing job.
All right. So we are coming to the end, but I always say one question to the last. And this one I think matters the most. Is there something you wish more people knew about your school or about education in India in general? Something that doesn't get talked about enough.
Yes, definitely. I Since I have been in the IPSC and the National Progressive Schools Conference, which is a consortium of around 250 schools in Delhi, and the IPSC, which has got the top 80 boarding schools of the country. Um, I strongly feel that the core fundamentals of a school are not seen by the parents to put their children in their school. I mean, they go largely by the name. They go largely by the word of mouth that spreads around, uh, and there and somewhere in today's world, many parents see fee as a constraining factor to put their child in the right place. You see, if you want quality, there has to be some kind of financial outgo. You go to a school which will charge you less, you will get only that much. But then, if you what people has to look at is for value for money. Okay, and when you look on those terms and see the various schools, analyze them carefully, you will find the real answer. Yes, I do agree with you that many people don't look at or don't know about Mann School. In fact, some time ago, when I used to say that I am from Mann School, the next question would be, where is the school? Okay, but things have changed now. At least today, people know where Mann School is and what we are doing today. But having said that, there has to be social media plays a very important role today. So when you showcase your activities, the achievements in social media, it gains a lot of traction, and that is something which which we do on a regular basis. But yes, there are, I do get concerned when people don't look at Mann School as a destination for their children, uh, largely because of factors which are totally you know not the right factors why they shouldn't choose Mann School for their children.
Okay, so that's actually a very important point, and I'm glad we got to end on that. So, thank you so much. This is exactly the kind of conversation I was hoping. You've been incredibly generous with your time and your honesty, and I think everybody watching this, whether they're a parent, a teacher, or someone in education, is going to take out something real from it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and honor speaking to you, and I hope my thoughts and feelings are not hurting anyone. And if I've done that, I'm sorry. But it was a very very frank discussion that I've had with you, and I hope people take note of it and get some cue uh, out of our conversation to help this industry, this education industry, a better space and take the right kind of decisions that would help us to grow together in future.
And to everybody watching, this was episode 1 of the ICOSA podcast. If you want to explore school rankings, reviews, data across India, head over to our website. We're just getting started. And trust me, the conversations only get better from here. See you in the next one.